Alright, welcome back to part 2 of a me versus me, Ogres versus Wood Elves 2,600 point game. So this is Ogre turn 4. They, do another wound with Grut Sickle. I buff up the unit of iron lead belchers with the, what's it called, the fire belly there. Just looked cool in that last picture. With +1 toughness or the regeneration, I can't really remember. And they're going into close combat with the Dryads here, but the Dryads are also buffed up with Wissen's Wild Form, and they're able to wreak quite a bit of damage, even with, I think it's a toughness buff. It's definitely not regeneration, and they're able to do a few wounds there. Down to 5 Dryads, but I'm able to beat the Ogres, beat myself, and the Ogres flee through everything. They are not caught by the Dryads. Believe it or not, the Saber Tusk rallies and moves up to just behind the Dryads. And then because the Dryads are sitting out there kind of in front of the Iron Guts and the Bulls, I don't want to be charged. I put the Eagle in front just outside the swamp, thinking, alright, they'll charge me, I'll flee, and they'll get into the swamp, maybe take some wounds, redirect, whatever. But they have to take wounds to get there. So I have my Treekin moved up to flank charge. I'm expecting the Bulls to run into destroy and then overrun right out in front of me, right in front of the Treekin, the Dryads. And I've got the War Dancers come into the front while the Treekin come into the flank, and they should destroy the Bulls and VSB like butter. Cool shot of the Glade Guard scouts just sitting there on the beach right at the edge of the swamp and just taking pot shots. Not doing a whole lot against the toughness 4 guys, but it's okay. The Dryads come into the flank of the Man-Eaters, and again the Lone Yeti fails its fear check. And the BSB and Spellweaver are just turned to face to be able to buff up the General's unit, be able to buff up those Dryads, be able to do whatever's needed. I shot the Hail of Doom arrow at some point earlier. You might have seen that whole mess of dice. I think it was the Hail of Doom arrow actually wasting all its shots. Quite a shame. So at this point, as second half of turn 4, this is an overview of the whole game, where the Wood Elves are pretty secure in the back. The bulk of the Ogre force is over to the Wood Elves' left flank, the left of this picture, and it looks like the Dryads and the Tree Man Ancient are going to mop up the Man-Eaters and the Yetis. So things are, looking up, feeling pretty tough. The Bulls come charging in, looking all mean and kind of cool. They're going to look great when they're all painted and the BSB is not just gray and the unit is all matching, but I really like the 2 guys in front, right? It's in the picture. And there's just the Tree Man Ancient standing tall, blending into the trees behind. You can see the gold gleaming BSB banner there waving in the foreground as the Tree Man is battering his way through the Yetis. The Man-Eaters are hard to see, but the Dryads are right in the flank, busting into the forest. I have a great magic phase with the Wood Elves. I'm able to get Wissen's Wild Form off here on the Dryads, which is just huge, somewhat unexpected, and Curse of Enry here off on the Bulls. Also somewhat unexpected. To be able to get both of that in a relatively weak magic phase, but it works out. But it doesn't work out that well. The Bulls just absolutely annihilate the Dryads, and I love this picture. You can see the 2 well-painted guys that are mostly done with the blue pants on, and they're just looking cool. They're looking pretty mean, and I just like it. It dawned on me afterwards that I Curse Van here, so I re-roll and still defeat just about everybody. The Branch Wraith is it's a dry cut model, but I use her as a Branch Wraith. She's the only one to survive. She flees and overrun, and I think, what I was expecting here is just being cocky, and I forgot only the 1 Wissen's Wild Form. There's only so much you can do. But now we're coming up on Ogre turn 5, and they're just going to be able to charge again. And so what I really needed to do as the Wood Elf player was take these Treekin and move them forward, so when the bulls overran, they would run into the Treekin. Instead, this is what it looks like. You can see the bulls are charging the War Dancers, who cannot flee and have no chance of winning, and the Iron Guts are charging the Eagle. Just have to be able to move somewhere. In combat over here, the Dryads do enough wounds to, I think, 2 wounds, so that they kill 1 Maneater and put 1 back. Put 1 wound on this one in the corner, who's a Tyrant model. Pretty cool. And the Maneater, this lone Maneater does 4 wounds, of which I save 5. I mean, just great rolling by the Maneaters, but you just can't get over how awesome it is to roll 5 and, ward saves and survive. Then the Treekin Ancient focuses all its attacks on the Maneaters, does a bunch of wounds. So I win combat by a ton, and all that's left is BSB from the Maneaters, so the BSB falls over. I get a captured banner. The Dryads turn to face the Lone Saber-Tusk, and as the sun's setting through the forest, they're the silhouetted Dryads, just looking intimidating. There's the dead Maneater left in the dust, the captured banner, as the Treekin Ancient goes chasing after the Yeti. It would have been fantastic had I caught the Yeti, but I rolled a 7 with the Treekin Ancient and a 9 with the Yeti. So instead of the Treekin Ancient being well up and being able to move for the last 2 rounds, because this is the first half of turn 5, he is stuck having to take care of that Yeti and get the Yeti out of there. So this is the same picture we saw earlier, but the Eagle has fled. Here's a close-up of the Iron Guts. You can see they've been whittled down mostly from their own dealings with the Gret Sickle, and in the background there is the fleeing Leadbelcher and Firebelly. The Wood Elves are hoping they'll just keep fleeing, and because it was not Wood Elf turn, they had no option to charge those guys, which would have been really great. And if I missed that opportunity, which I don't think I could have because the Glade Riders were there. But anyways, the Iron Guts go to redirect, taking a chance of going through the marsh, but fail their leadership on boxcars, and they're out of range of the BSB, so don't re-roll. And so they'll keep charging the Eagle. And of course the Firebelly and Leadbelcher rally. It was just unbelievable. I mean, everyone made their rally test, leadership test. They only roll a 4, and they stop right before they get to the swamp. So it works out just about as well as it possibly can for the Ogres. This is what it looks like. The bulls are right in there with the War Dancers. Everybody else is rallied. This is just going to be brutal. Just brutal. They're going to come into the War Dancers. The War Dancers are going to do the 4+ ward save, but it really probably won't matter. The Saber-Tusk moves around to the flank of the Dryads, just to be at a charge arc. And coming into this battle, this is just where it's going to get ugly. I give them the 4+ ward save. They do great. They've got great weapon skill, all that, but they just don't have the toughness, and they don't have the strength to get through. I think I did 1 wound or killed an Ogre, but it just doesn't matter. So they win. They overrun right into the Branch Wraith, knock her out, and consequently get far enough away that it becomes interesting. So the plan is, coming up on Wood Elf turn 5, the plan is for the Treekin to be able to charge the rear. Right, because they hit the Branch Wraith, they're able to stop and then reform. Coming in on Wood Elf turn 5, this is what it looks like as we're setting up the Treekin Ancients going after the Yeti. We've got the Banner of Eternal Flame Glade Guard, and the Treekin will be able to dual charge the bulls here, but the bulls recognize this and they flee from the Treekin. And I think the original plan was to double charge with the Glade Guard, but I believe either right now, if it looks it, I'm now out of they're out of my front arc, or they're now out of range or something like that. They fled 12 inches or 11 inches, and I just all of a sudden, or maybe I just got carried away and forgot to charge them. But I can't charge them with Glade Guards, so they're not there. The Treeman Ancient decides to charge the Yeti, and hopefully would catch them and get well out in front, but of course fails to charge and misses. The Treekin decide to redirect into the flank of the Iron Guts. You know, they defeated some Mournfang cavalry. They're feeling pretty strong and powerful and, you know, invulnerable. I make my leadership check, which is great. So they're able to redirect there. The Dryads move over just to protect the flank of the archers and BSB. And there's the Treeman Ancient just stuck out there in the middle. Can't do anything. Can't get the Yeti. Pain in the neck. Can't get in the back of the Iron Guts or anything like that. So here's a look from behind, and this is where it makes sense. I think I just couldn't actually see the bulls. So what I do is I cast the Amber Spear into the Iron Guts here, and I think I kill one whole guy who's fallen down before, and I put one wound on another guy. Could have been better, could have been worse, but that's alright. I'll take it. I'm able to shoot down the Yeti, so at least he's out of the Treeman Ancient's way. And that's pretty good. And that just gives me all those points. And then I shoot everything else I have at these guys. And I'm able to kill a whole nother one, so I put 3 more wounds on. And I think that's about it. But, you know, I'm at the point that once you get into close range, you're able to kill 1 to 2 Iron Guts every single round, which enough time and that'll be pretty great. So Ogre turn 6. Of course, these guys rally. Unbelievable on an 8. And you know, most of the time I'd roll the 8. The Eagles rallied in the background, but these guys rallied. They can't do anything. They're just hanging out over here. In the background, it's hard to see because it's blurry in this picture. I think the next picture shows it a bit better. But the Iron Guts, they're not going to charge through and do anything, so they just reform. The Lead Belcher and the Fire Belly move up just a little bit to shoot at the Glade Riders, who have moved away from the Iron Guts and have some charge options. And this is an overview of what it all looks like. The Glade Guard and the Treekin are in a standoff with the Iron Guts. The Glade Guard scouts are still sitting there shooting at them. They're not worried about what's going on behind. So Ogre casting, Sickle again, another wound, but got plenty to spare. And it was great. Never once did I roll a double ones, which would have been a real shame. What does happen this time is I roll a 1 and wound myself, which isn't that great. And I rolled and the next time I cast Irresistible Force, so I get the 1 back. So you see the Slaughtermaster does not have a wound, but I roll another 7, and it does 3 wounds and kills an Ogre. But I did that casting Great Maw in the pumped up version. Figure throw it all in, drop it over here on the BSB. It's scattered somewhere good, and it unfortunately doesn't hit that whole unit, but it scatters right over top of the Treeman Ancient. So all of a sudden the Treeman Ancient is stuck making an initiative test, and on initiative 2 I roll a 2. So that is just unexpected and wonderful. And so the Treeman Ancient only takes a strength 3 hit instead of strength 7 d6 wounds, and survives. So he doesn't take any wounds, nothing happens, it's great. Wood Elf turn 6, the Glade Riders charge the remaining Lead Belcher and Firebelly, hoping to kill the Lead Belcher, win combat, chase him down, anything to get points there. I think I tried to charge again with the Treekin, and I failed again. The Treeman Ancient jumps into this woods. He just looks cool in the woods, even if you know it's kind of blurry and you can't really see him. Right next to all his little dryad, like sapling friends, and he's just going to come over and strangle root the remaining Saber Tusk. You know, why not get those extra points? It's silly, it's only 21 points, but just get rid of them. And then the BSB and Spellweaver climb almost into the shrine to like really protect it this last round and just get some good shots off the Iron Guts, hopefully cause a panic check. So the heroic Glade Riders, who took out the evil traitor scout, go charging in here, and I take all my stuff and do pumped up Wissons so that they are +1 strength and toughness. Now all of a sudden they're formidable. Strength 5 on the charge, toughness 4, pretty cool stuff. Feeling pretty good about that one. I should mop that up. Of course, it's hard to see it. The dice is blurry, but the die is misfire. So the Treekin Ancient doesn't do any shots on the Sabertusk. The Sabertusk survives, and the Treekin Ancient kind of just ran around, didn't do anything the whole time. These guys are shooting at the Iron Guts, take out 2, and do 2 more wounds. So the Iron Guts are pretty wounded now. It's pretty awesome with the 20 shots or so. In combat here, even with Wissons, I do a total of 4 wounds to the Fire Belly and the Lead Belcher, but it's divided such that they both survive, and they do 3 wounds back. I think I did 3 and 3, and then with the charge, the Glade Riders win, but no flee. So the Iron Guts don't flee either. So at the end of the game, this is what the Wood Elf left flank looks like. The Glade Riders are sitting there in combat with the Lead Belcher and the Fire Belly, so no points are won or lost there. The Iron Guts and the General are full points. The Eagle is alive, the Glade Guard Scouts are alive, and the Treekin are alive. And so even though we were playing Blood and Glory, at no point did we really take out any banners. I took out 2 banners of the Ogres with the Wood Elves, but the Ogres had 6 or 7 for their whatever the number's called, and we're playing 2,600 point games, so there's only 2 points you need, 2 battle points or 3 or whatever, and nowhere near that did the Wood Elves get. Conversely, the Ogres just couldn't even get to the banners the Wood Elves have, so it wasn't even a question. This Ogre unit down the bottom with the BSB on the right and the banner on the left, that would have been great, a lot of points. Again, couldn't make them flee. I should have had the Treekin in there ready to take the overrun charge. Treekin are just mean. They're really great, and if that had happened, I think I was afraid with the Treekin that they would just buff up the bulls with regeneration or something, and then all of a sudden the Treekin would not be able to do a whole lot of damage, and the Glade Guard here with the Banner of Eternal Flame were not this close, and so could not necessarily easily get into a flank and negate the regeneration, etc., etc. So it's, at the time it seemed like a really risky proposal. Oh, and that's what had happened. The Iron Guts had Troll Guts, but I shot with the Banner of Eternal Flame, wounded first, and was able to wound with everybody else afterwards, so that worked out pretty darn well. Pretty cool, doing all those wounds. And then on the right flank, again, you can see the 2 Glade Guard units, one sitting right in the shrine, shooting over it, and then the Dryads on the right flank, who were great coming into the corner of the Man-Eaters, helping out the Treekin Ancient, who just couldn't kill the lone Sabertusk. It's only 21 points. It really doesn't matter that much, but every bit counts. So at the end of the game, it was a Wood Elf victory by 187 points or something like that. I think there's parts where I could have made a lot more points, and I just got kind of lost in the whole thing. I hope to do this 2 more times. It's a lot of fun. It takes a long time. It's pretty exhausting, and you forget a lot, and you're kind of rushing yourself. I think in the future, what I'll do is set up more like a traditional game where instead of kind of having fake objectives where the Wood Elves were defending a little bit more and the Ogres were attacking, I'll set up really strategically on both sides. But thanks for watching. I look forward to any thoughts and suggestions and recommendations you have, and I'll see you next time.